I can't believe I got disqualified. I didn't even use my laser at full strength.
It'll be all right, Darren. Just a few modifications. You can try again next year.
Oh, finally I found you guys. What's wrong with him? Oh, well look, I know what to cheer you up, Darren. Mars Rover game.
Well, let's play. Unlike the Mars Rover Landing game that came out last year, which was more of an educational and promotional tool wrapped in flailing Kinect movements.
I'm in the circle, I'm in the circle!
Bajo, now for the hard bit.
I'm out of the circle!
I'm getting a slightly erratic reading from you.
Sorry, I ate a very large sandwich.
Take on Mars aims to simulate NASA's operations and puts you in charge of it all. From mission control, you can launch missions from the world map, construct landers, and play this weird arcade thing.
Attention. Failed.
Yes, that is tricky, but there's no time for silly games when there's exploring to be done. The best part of Take on Mars is the launch. Initially blind, you hear the burn of the lander's jets. Then all of a sudden, the canopy falls away and you can see the Martian surface racing up towards you. As you're plummeting towards the surface, out pops a parachute to ease your fall, and then you can sit back and enjoy the view. And the first time you do this, it's quite exhilarating.
Well, that's if you use automated landing. Exhilaration quickly turns to panic if you attempt manual landing. They rarely go well. Oh no.
Oh dear. Oh my.
Oh, correct yourself, correct yourself.
You
Oh, this is not gonna
managed
go
it.
well. Oh, this is going badly.
Yeah, we can do it. We can do it.
Once you manage to plonk yourself safely on the surface, exploration can begin. Missions consist of analysis and recording through photography, as well as atmospheric scanning. There's a wide array of cameras, power modules, and scanning gear, enough to get any technology appreciator excited.
Well, the idea is to discover as much about the surrounding area as possible. Completing missions and objectives earns funding for your organisation. You can use these funds to unlock new zones or construct your own landers.
Controlling the machines can be a bit tricky, and with no tutorial, it can take quite a while to figure out what does what. My first mission was at night, and I had no idea what was happening. I just sat there pressing buttons wildly until finally I found the night vision button, which let me see. Turns out I'd crashed on landing.
Some of the landers are stationary, which means that all you'll need to control the instruments. And while that sounds simple, not all of the missions are entirely clear. How do I scan this rock?
When you finally get behind the wheels of the rover, you'll notice it drives a little bit like a slow, rusty tank. Who would have thought that something so small could be so cumbersome?
Yes, roving around the deserts of Mars can be mighty boring. It's nice that most missions have a launch point for new landers near points of interest. However, once you've launched all of your available rovers, you'll need to start taking long trips to get to points of interest. If you damage or abandon too many vehicles before completing areas, you can quickly run out of funds for more rovers. And this means you have to load a previous save or restart the campaign.
On the easier mode, you can adjust the time of day on Mars so you can choose whether to undertake a mission in day or night. The benefit of completing missions during the day is that the solar panels will constantly be recharging your power, making long-distance exploration possible. But again, those long drives are dull. If only they had rocket boots like me.
In addition to the main campaign, you can also jump into pre-arranged scenarios, such as this one, where you start in an emergency landing sequence and have to try and recover before impending disaster strikes. They're fun, but, you know, short-lived.
There's also a level editor which lets you design your own scenarios to tackle. There's a decent amount of options here, but to be honest, I spent most of my time flying around in free cam mode, soaking in the radiation.
Guys, I love space and space exploration, and I love how serious this game takes it, but it just doesn't translate into being very much fun. And after a few hours, once the shine wears off, this becomes a very limited gameplay experience. So I'm going to give it 5.5 out of 10 rubber chickens.
Yeah, after that initial buzz of being on Mars wears off, there's not a whole lot this sim has to offer that makes you want to go where no man, woman or spawnling has ever gone before, so I'm giving it 5 out of 10.
On a side note, the game is nothing like the real thing. You can never properly simulate the incredible feeling of wind rushing through your antennae as you surf the dunes on Cydonia.
I'll pull off a jump, turn, 777, 20.
Darren, you've got some pretty sick tubular radical moves there. Hey, you've been to Mars. Tell me, are there aliens there?
Yeah, the aliens?
NASA's asked me not to talk about that.